Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Kat, a podcast for outcasts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Delight and Fright. We have myself, Luna, Kat, and Kai Kaldro here. And Kai is a actor, filmmaker, and a musician. Hi, Kai. How are you doing today?
Hey, Luna. Hey, Kat. Thanks for having me. I'm talking to you too, so doing great.
That's fantastic. Glad to hear.
Oh, do I talk? I don't know. The audio keeps going in and out. What's up?
Oh, no. I just mute when I'm not talking. But yeah, we just
Oh.
Yeah, no worries. So how are you doing today? How's New York? I understand you're currently in New York.
That's right, yeah. It snowed. I'm not used to seeing that, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, so this last weekend, my new song, His Girl Friday the 13th, was released. Ironically not on Friday the 12th, the closest we could get to the 13th, but that was part of what was great about leading up to it was, you got to hit that pre-save button on Spotify if you want to turn time forward a day. But in any case, yeah, premiered it on all the music streaming platforms, and the consensus seems to be that it's everyone's favorite of the 3 singles I've done so far. Now we're getting ready to shoot the music video for not this one, but the previous song, Read Alpha Remnants. And unlike the music video for my song Postcoital Premortem, which was the big debut, this one we're looking to expand the cast and have a backing band with me. Because last time it was me flying solo. So this time we're opening up the floor, and I'm excited about that. How are you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. How about you, Kat?
I'm doing great, and I'm loving the coolness. So you can send more our way. I don't like the swampy heat of Florida, which is constant, but I'll take any cold I can get.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. Everyone's always all the city fuckers around here are always ragging on Florida up until this time of year. At this time of year, everyone loves Florida. Everyone wants to go down there. Mysteriously, it all changes. But I love Florida year round because that's where you guys have all the best horror conventions down there. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely lucky in that sense. And there's, gators just laying around randomly. It's what they do. You see a body of water, just assume there's a gator there. Hey, what's up, gator? They're chill unless you're stupid or want to investigate while you're jogging at 2 a.m. Like, oh, what is that? You're stupid. Then, of course, you slip and gator gets you. That's what they do.
I always died laughing. I think it was Monsters Incorporated. That there's that joke with Randall, the villain, Steve Buscemi voices. When he's like a weird green purple multi-limbed alligator monster. When he ends up in Florida for a second, he teleports there, and you hear from a trailer, "Oh, Ma, another gator got in the house. Oh, give me that shovel." And they start beating him. This all happens in silhouette through a window. Yeah.
That's great. I love
pretty messed up.
I don't know. It was slapsticky enough they got away with it in a Disney Pixar movie. But that was always my favorite out of all those, was Monsters Incorporated.
Yeah, some of those tend to be a little, they have little nuggets of like questionable stuff where you're like, hmm. Speaking of awesomeness, that is you, Kai. How did you get and started in horror? Because it's a very interesting genre, and we love horror here, obviously for obvious reasons. It's fantastic. How did you get started in the horror community?
Good question. I mean, I've always been a huge that's always been, I want to say, my favorite genre, and even the things that I love that are in that don't fall under that label. I mean, they still have like horror elements or uh some of that visage. Um what happened, so I mean, just in terms of what I consume in my creative process and inspirations and everything, I mean, uh I've always loved harder rock or heavy metal music and always aspired towards that, and a lot of that ends up being kind of synonymous with horror, like, and that's why you got all these guys, both equally, from horror movies and, from iconic bands, who show up at the conventions. But so that, you know, cinematically, like I remember as a kid, like any, young, you know, wee lad is, especially back in the early 2000s, back before there was a new fucking Marvel or DC comic book movie out every month, loved Spider-Man and Batman, right? Or the movies that were, out at that time, which Sam Raimi made his first few Spider-Mans, and then they were a little before my time, but I, was watching them repeatedly on DVD, the Tim Burton Batmans, and both, and it wasn't just like, the superheroes in question. It was like, the whole like cinematic language, and both Sam Raimi and Tim Burton, were rooted in horror, and liked making weird shit, and that I became enamored with and retroactively discovered, with Sam Raimi, like Evil Dead, and with Tim Burton, like all the other stuff like Beetlejuice and yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas. So and yeah, and then so for a long time I thought, I always had musical aspirations, but I didn't really actuate them because I guess growing up I was never around the right people, or I didn't get the support that I needed. And I mean, also in general, like, telling anyone, especially if you are growing up in like shitholeville nowhere, Virginia, that you're going to grow up, to be like a big theatrical shock rocker, or you want to be, in the vein of Rob Zombie or Alice Cooper or Marilyn Manson, they tend to not really get behind that or digest that very easily. But then I moved here. I moved back. I dropped out of school when I was 16, and then I moved back to New York City when I was right when I was like 18, and to begin what I thought was just going to be my life as a filmmaker. And then, like, I kind of had an identity crisis with that for a while, because I love movies and making the smaller ones that I have, but I never really I don't know, I just felt like there was something missing, and I wasn't quite I just I there was something was off. And then what happened? I think there's one time, and it's funny that I know it's kind of weird to be talking like in retrospect about things uh that have all happened, still relatively pretty recently, but the younger you are, the faster you change. So a few two yeah, about 2 years ago now, I think I was on set of this music video. It was for the Chainsmokers for their song, I think it was called iPad. And I was like in some like entry level menial position on set. I was like a PA, which is a pretty thankless and demoralizing job a lot of the time. But the director approached me and he was like, "Hey, I want you to be one of the extras. I want you to be, or it was I want he wanted me to be one of these like rave goers during this like psychedelic like drug consumption sequence at a rave in the music video." And I was like, "Yeah, hey, that sounds cool." But then a few months down the line, it came out, and I was expecting to actually be in it because I thought I was an extra. But then, like, And even though it's only for a brief few moments, like I wound up having some screen time in it. You get this big close up of my face, and you like flipping my bangs at the camera in slow motion, and I don't know, because for a long time, like I remember, and acting was another thing I wanted to do. Basically, doing anything theatrical, like performing was something I always wanted to do. I remember playing in talent shows when I was a kid. I'm a singer. That's what I am. But I back then I tried playing. Before I kind of figured myself out. I tried doing guitar. Not meant to do that. But that was something I did, and I just again didn't get the wasn't getting whatever recognition that and so I thought, okay, I'm supposed to stay behind the camera or behind wherever. And then eventually I realized I had more to offer than just bossing people around. And yeah, so then I was like, yeah, then in the last about this time last year, so going forward after that music video shoot, then I kind of what happened, I started attending horror conventions. And suddenly, the people there, more my speed, folks like yourselves, like-minded people who were, suddenly, I talked to them and they'd be like, oh man, you should, they would ask me like, oh, hey, are you like in a band? Do you make music? Like, do you act? What's your deal? And the more that happened, I was like, maybe that was, it kind of, came together like, oh, that's what I want to do and what I'm, supposed to be doing. And I've, spent a long time flirting with that and, kind of not doing anything. So then I, grew some balls and began my music life. And so this time last year, we began working, song by song, kind of drip feeding the singles. What was at the time just an EP with a few songs, but is now metamorphized into a full LP, a full album we're doing. That my guitarist and my producer and I. And the big catalyst for everything was when our first song, the first song I did, Post Coil Premortem, got, before I actually even recorded the real song, it got pre-licensed the soundtrack for Desert Fiends, which is this all-star cast horror film coming up that's got everyone in it. It's got Eric Roberts, Byling, Tom Arnold, Scout Taylor Compton, Lisa Wilcox, Lorelei Linklater. So yeah, that was a big spiritual nourishment and a step in the right direction. And yeah, and then I recorded it, and then I shot the music video this last summer, and that was a big turning point. And then the next single after that was Redial for Remnants, and then now we have just this last week, His Girl Friday the 13th, and yeah, and so yeah, this last year was a big turning point. It was a very productive and like a spiritual and artistic rebirth through horror and rock and roll.
Nice. It definitely sounds like you've been on a journey, Kai, and I love that. Journeys are so important. And I don't want to, make you feel bad or anything. Please don't take offense, but I'm in my 40s, Luna's in her 30s, and I have a lot of friends of different ages, and I think it really helps to kind of get others' perspective. And in your case, I think you shouldn't give a damn what other people think. Do you, right? Don't worry about what other people are thinking. And that's when you're going to shine. That's when you're going to find your passion and get where you want to go. David Bowie, he got the same shit. People are like, oh, he's a weirdo. He's a freak. You know what I mean? They all got the same garbage and the same bullshit. Don't let it get to you. Just know that there's people out there that do get you and that will support you, right? Even if you don't have that support network right next to you, at least now with the internet and virtual, the world is at your fingertips. If you need something, if you're going through something, there's somebody out there that's gone through something similar. So it's awesome, and we always want to make sure that we reach out and we see things through different lenses, and it sounds like you're starting to break onto through to the other side, so to say. I love that.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate both referencing Bowie and Jim Morrison within the same piece, because I was real inspired by them as a kid, because they both had like a lower vocal register like I do, and they I feel like they kind of put that on the map, so to speak. But no, I agree, and I appreciate you saying that, because I think like, because I think I was just like around. The problem is that, like, when when you're young and susceptible, like, to the wrong people, and you're also bored, or you're like you're you give your time out too easily to the wrong people, and more time went on, I became more selective about who I spent my time with, and like, there were people I had in my life for one reason or another that, I mean, maybe it was longevity, but for all intents and purposes, you know they weren't down with the blood and the guts and the rock and roll, so they had to go. And
Yeah.
like, actually, there's one guy I grew up with, and I always stayed in touch with, and he was always a dick about like all the music that I like. And when I told him, like, this time last year that I was gonna begin my own, like, music project, he ghosted me, and I that was it. Like, I never heard from him. I've never sought to reach out to him, because there were other things weighing in on that. But that was like, you know what? Yeah, because like, when you hear, like, the constant, when you constantly hear, like, the reiteration from so many people that, like, oh, that's stupid, no one, you're the only person that likes that, yada yada. It's like, well, no, like, to me it's very to me it just feels like when people are like bitching about politics and religion, where it's like, when they single out one person and they say, like, well, fuck you if you believe that, or if you like that, or if you're wrong, yada yada. And then it's like, you're like, well, but what about, like, this huge population here? And they're like, oh, well, they don't matter, because, well, yada yada yada. And
It's
you're
all
like, all
about
right, well, then who, like,
conforming.
if you're gonna write, yeah, if you're gonna write off, like, entire, like, groups of people like that, like, all right, well, who does fucking matter? Like, because there's a lot to write off there, and there's a lot of, like, but in any case, so that was a process that I went through, and it was I don't know, after the first few fuckers that got weeded out, it got pretty easy to do.
Nice. And you'll find the
I
people that
mean,
give you the hardest
yeah,
time are jealous. They
yeah,
see something in you
yeah.
that they know they don't have, or they can never have, and it rubs them the wrong way, and they got no one else to boo-hoo to, so they just try to make your life difficult.
Yeah, I mean, one of my relatives that I don't make any attempts to really be in touch with, but he, out of some, I don't know, weird sense of obligation, like, he thinks he's, like, being nice or doing the right thing, will maintain contact with me, and I hear from time to time. And the last year I kind of closeted what I was doing, because he was always a dick about all the music that I was passionate about growing up. And then when I just didn't feel like, when he called me up recently, I didn't feel like bullshitting it with him. I just mentioned very just straight up what I was doing. I wasn't gonna, like, closet what I was doing. And then he starts going on and on. He starts, running his mouth, and he says, like, a bunch of, dumb shit. And he said, like, look, you're not some kind of cool angel of vengeance, okay? You're not Batman. You're not Trent Reznor. You're gay. And then I was like, I responded to him, and I said, well, aren't the aforementioned individuals are, like, gay in the theatrical sense, as I am, or aspire towards, in the sense of being, like, flamboyant or whatever, I guess, but, like, it didn't make any sense to me. But that aside, I said, like, well, but it became, kind of apparent to me that even if, say, I was opening, like, I for Nine Inch Nails or someone huge like that, like, he would still be saying the same goddamn fucking thing. Like, there's no, at no point is anyone, like, who has that mentality ever going to be impressed, their mind going to change. or they're going to be supportive. It's just in their nature to bitch up a song about nothing and, like to try to shoot you down. So, yeah.
True.
And that was then, I was quick to burn that bridge too. But, that phrase has always been kind of interesting to me because I don't think I really burn bridges. I think I block off roads to hell paved with good intentions.
Nice. I like that. I like that.
Yes.
We have a comment from a subscriber asking or saying, pull a John Carpenter and do songs and scores for your own movies.
Well, that's the intention.
Ooh.
I've taken a step back from because I mean I've kind of taken a step back from outside of my music videos doing any like writing or directing anything of my own, just for the sake of focusing on what has been this last year compounding my musical life. But when the time comes, definitely having a soundtrack full of stuff that me and company we all come up with. So I'm looking forward to that. But he's got the right idea.
Nice. I'm going to play a little piece of your song, Postcoital Premortem. I think it's a fantastic video.
Yep.
Great job on that. The visuals, the music, everything is beautiful. I'm going to...
thank you.
I'm going to mute us for just a second so our viewers can listen uninterrupted for a few seconds. And then we'll see what you guys think.
Turning her tricks on all the cops and lawyers as she stares through Venetian blinds, hiding her voyeurs. Dressing like her little sister, hiding the Hollywood hills, only with enough pills and a dame. Are you game? But are you any smarter? Her sugar daddy's castration ain't no fucking mystery. I take your invitation to fall harder. You told her to let sleeping dogs lie, but when the dogs say you lying still, she'll be still lying. What's going on?
Nice. Think I saw some booty. Did I see some booty, Luna? I love booty.
There is some booty in here. Yes. Thank you for giving us booty, Kai. We love booty on this channel. And yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, there'll never be any shortage of that from me. In fact, when we do screen this at whichever film festival, I'm gonna be there right in the front row. And when that scene comes up, I'm gonna be screaming out at myself, "Show us your ass! Show us your titties! Let the titties fly!"
Nice.
I love it. I love it. It's
I'm gonna be like, no, I'm allowed to say it.
I give myself shit all the time.
Right. What I love in particular about this video and what you've done perfectly, Kai, on this one is it's got like super grungy elements, but then the backdrop is so beautiful and elegant and regal, and you mix them both together and they just kind of look fucking cool. You got all these elements and you think of all these things going through your head looking at the visuals, and you did a fantastic job putting these two elements together and kind of romancing them, you know what I mean? Because it's like so grungy but cool and pretty, and like I don't know, I loved it.
Thank you, Luna. I appreciate that. that was 100% the intention and the mission statement, and that's why, you know, I wanted, as you see it right there in that clip you showed, my first lyrics on the record to be, on the wrong side of history and on the right side of hell. The whole Jekyll and Hyde yin yang thing. I think that split personality is like the basis for my career. As in the video, even I'm like, you know, two characters. Uh, and yeah, the I think where this all stems from is as a kid, you know, my two favorite kinds of movies were either like all the fancy old stuff from, you know, the resplendent golden age Hollywood days, like you know, all the stuff, all the black and white detective film noir stuff, or things by Alfred Hitchcock or John Huston or Howard Hawks. But the other side of that coin was that I liked all the stuff that was dirty and gothed out and had a lot of, you know, guns and blood and leather, and had like a big heavy metal contingency like The Crow or Blade or the Matrix films and stuff. So this is kind of the bastard child of those two extremes, you know, like uh that was the intention, the idea. And but not only cinematically but musically too. I was like, okay, how do we take that mysterious, you know, that like, you know, sexual fluidity of a, you know, film noir, and translate that into this like industrial soundscape. And um yeah, I think for a first song, which, you know, I went in pretty you know, kind of you know, pretty blind, like trying to figure everything out. I think we it flew pretty naturally, and that the music video was a lot of fun to shoot. I'm so glad you showed it from the beginning right there, because I we screened this recently for my friend who's upstate, or rather in Poughkeepsie, a few hours north of the city. I was hanging out with her on New Year's Eve, and she has four small preteen, early teenage daughters, and they were like, "Oh, Kai, you made a music video. We want to see it. We want to see it." And I was like, I don't know. You just ask your mom." And I said that like hoping she would just say no and I'd be off the hook, but no, because she's such a cool chick. My friend Christine, she was like, "Nah, good, let him have it." And I was like, "Oh boy." So we screened it on their like living room TV, and funnily enough, they were you know, very unfazed by all the blood and the all the, you know, kinky shit. But the one bit of I guess constructive criticism I got was from her youngest, who was like, "Next time you do one of these, you need to do a better job brushing your teeth in the morning, because the opening shot when you're licking the mic, your tongue is so crusty." And I was like, you know what? I'll take it. Okay.
Nice. Good hygiene is
But
important.
yeah, we shot that. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't argue with her. Yeah, we shot this all in one day, in a 6 hour in less than 6 hours actually. And the problem was that I forgot to bring a bra, because I'm a guy and it just didn't occur to me. I got everything but the a bra for the prosthetic boobs. And our makeup artist Sarah, who's incredible special effects artist, she's so incredible. She actually managed to, like, you know, get them on me with prosthetic skin tape, but she had to keep redoing every take, which under the time sensitivity that was already ever present, made all things all the more intense. But you know, lesson learned for next time, because that's not a one-time thing. The what I some of the, I guess, you know, the friends out there have so coined as the Dame of the Dead, the character in the red dress. She's coming back.
Nice.
Ooh, love
And
it.
I hate it when my boobs fall off, don't you, Luna?
Yeah.
It's just like, oops, there goes my boob. Damn it! Damn it! I need more tape.
It's like 5 pounds that we're carrying around. 10 pounds just appear. It's like shit's falling out all the time, you know. You gotta tape these bad boys up, you know. I get it. It's crazy.
Oh man.
It weighs a lot.
Yeah, I think they were They weighed about that. The
God.
prosthetic ones that I had. Yeah. But the booty in question, that was all real, that you guys were so enamored with. So
Ooh.
no prosthetics there.
No prosthetic
Yeah.
booty, all real, all
Ooh.
natural. Ooh.
No. Yeah, you know, it was too ambitious a project was I was gonna try shaving my legs the night before, and that was I which I've never done, but I to try to sell the twist better, but I was like, yeah, screw it. And thankfully, I don't know how noticeable they were in the video, but that something I might consider for the next shoot. But that was another like funny like thing I hadn't done or didn't know enough about, that Sarah, she was like kind of just like shaking her head and laughing at the next day, and I was like,
Nice.
all right.
Or you can always just do
That's funny.
pantyhose
Yeah.
and, you know, with a little dark color, and nobody knows that you're furry under there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we resorted to in this case.
Nice.
Yeah. And then yeah, because I had to, because you know because you get the basic instinct leg cross right at the end.
Yeah. And you know what they say? You know, children are so honest with their opinions. So that's probably why you got that feedback, because kids don't give a fuck. They're just like, this is gross. And then they just tell you how it is, because they're not, you know, they're at an age where they just have no filter, or I haven't been told by society. It's
Oh no,
wrong if we say those things, you know?
well, no, I appreciated that. No, but that just goes to show they're forward thinking. They were cool with everything. They just want me to brush my teeth. So that's good. That's, you know, real wholesome. They have a
Yeah.
good mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's oral hygiene is very important. It's actually very good for your cardiovascular health as well. So we approve. Thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking
And
of
I love the
I did too,
balance
yeah.
in the video, Kai. The
Mhm.
balance, right? The grungy and the beautiful, like Luna was talking about. And you definitely have a sound that I haven't heard before, right? We don't want the same things over and over reiterated, something new. And that's important. And I like that you're being original, you're being different. And I think it's pretty damn cool. And I'm looking forward to hearing some more.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really honored that you both have, you know, really noticed the duality of what I've you know, strived towards musically. Because I feel like you know, I'm very passionate about these two anachronistic, incongruous things. So, you know, trying to conflate them, you know, it's willing to do it, you know, both musically and you know, whether it be on stage or, you know, in the music video. You know, it's it feels like it was a hard won accomplishment. So, but it seems like, you know, it was worth it. You know, when I hear from you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think you know, it's, you know, because I that's one thing I would always hear, like whenever I ask like what's your favorite movie, and when I would respond, well, it's a tie between Rear Window and The Crow. They'd be like, well, those are completely different, and I'm like, all right, well, how would I conflate these, and how would I conflate like but a little in like the soundtracks of the two, that like, you know, whole like, you know, the ambience, and so here we go. Here's an unlikely but beautiful bastard child, his post-coital premortem. And I think most everything I aspire to do musically, a lot of people you hear say like they try to like change their sound like way too early, I think. But you know, I feel like the great thing about being so like early in your career is that, like, you know, you don't have to like think of something like, you know, I have at least kind of the leeway of not being under pressure to, like, you know, change whatever I did the next time I do something, because like it's so esoteric and, like, you know, obscure anyways. You know, it's like, all right, well, you know, you know, like what I'm saying, like I remember like there's one person who suggested, oh, you should, you know, change it up the next video, and you should have like an actual an actual actress as the chick in it instead of you in drag. But I'm like, well, no one really heard me loud enough the first time, so I'm not gonna, fuck that. The Dame of the Dead, me, she's coming back. So yeah, in a sense, for however hard it is, to get exposure these days, like the one liberating thing about it is that, like, um, you're not under pressure to, like, do something different, like, that whole, because that happens a lot, I think, with filmmakers or musicians or whoever. It's like, uh there's this, like, this whole pressure of, like, then this whole double standard of, like, you can't be a one trick pony, but you have to change this, but you have to do, yeah, this, like, constant, fucking conflict of what they want versus what they're supposed to do off of demand of the label or the distributor or their fan base or whoever. And if you're not, if you're not quite under any of those institutions yet, or you don't have a huge following, it's in one sense, it's sort of like, you're not competing with yourself. So, I'm kind of, enjoying that.
I love that. A lot of people sometimes got to get out of their own way. So you're just making your own
Yeah.
way fresh. And you mentioned that Rear Window and The Crow are very different movies. I don't think so. I think they're very similar. You have the constraints of society, the guy who's constrained to his wheelchair, the crow who's constrained to his, whatever curse he's got going on, where he can only survive as long as he
That's a good
gets his
point.
revenge. And it's human nature at
Yeah.
its core, right? And that's what I think your video kind of speaks to me as well. It's about humanity, right? Where we can be incredibly beautiful and we can be incredibly disgusting, all in one, one moment. So I think that says a lot. And those are two amazing movies, and I'm just a big film nerd, so I just wanted to share that.
That's a good point. And I think you're right. I think the recurring, I think what both films would have in common is that, they have a human touch despite, the brutal nature of their premises. And I think they both conclude with, uh hanging on a ledge in the confrontation between the hero and the villain. And they they both conclude with, some kind of happily ever after, whether it's in the afterlife or it's in, reality, with between the love interest and everything. So in a sense, yeah, I agree. And the music video, and here's kind of where I get one thing I kind of am always in a conflict with myself artistically is that, I want to make stuff that, I want to create music or films or what have you that, don't reflect, real life. Because I think, art should be, a deviation from that, and you should go and create your own alternate universe. And in a sense, yeah, I mean, like, it's a period setting. There, no one is like, it's the music videos doesn't cut back to anyone's fucking iPhone screen or their, like, or whatever. Because I hate that in every fucking movie now. Every movie and every TV show is just like, is so, like, antiseptic with, like, that, and it's very distracting. But in any case, the one thing that I about human nature that I think kind of gets reflected here, both in within the piece itself, but also in the meta sense of what happened when we were shooting the video. The part that really seems to kind of provoke people the most is when the detective character, after him and I have sex, after he's compounding his post-coital pleasure by flipping through his creepy porno scrapbook. And that really, that part really sets people off more so than the following sequence where he's getting stabbed to death and his eyes are getting gouged out. And it kind of just goes to reflect the weird, like, I think it's a very American thing we've been kind of conditioned with, where sex, and anything involving any kind of debauchery is so censored, and yet violence isn't. And it's weird because we are created through sex and we're destroyed through violence, and yet what creates us is all the more censored and regarded with this scandalous, disapproving air. I always thought it was really fucking stupid that like every Marvel comic book movie or DC, whatever huge mainstream commodity, has all of these sequence after sequence of whichever city getting leveled in a way that like always closely resembles 9/11, and yet you have one little intimate scene, you see one little nipple or pubic hair, and suddenly, boom, fucking rated R. So with that said, I'm not saying that with some kind of air of self-righteousness, because I've fallen to the same conditioning as well. So what's really interesting is that to me, and just kind of reflects the point that I wanted to make with the video in a sense, to portray here. When I was getting ready and during the pre-production process, mind you, I handcrafted that prop, the weird, creepy porno scrapbook that's concealed in the Bible. I had to go find all those, porno mags and cut out the nude model bodies and plaster the heads of all the old, Hitchcock girls and Hollywood starlets on them, and write all the, juicy obscenities all over them, right? I felt so weird doing that, so uncomfortable. I felt like, like really like weird having that prop laying around my place here. And even when we shot it, meanwhile, I have like the prop gun, the prop size, all the weapons and stuff, which when taken out of context, could actually get you in trouble. You hear that all the time, like, oh, they didn't realize it was a fake gun, and so got arrested, or someone got shot. But those I had no compunction about at all, and yet like those I could actually get in trouble for, and yet if taken out of context of the shoot, and yet of all things, like I'm like really like scared, paranoid, looking over my shoulder about the fucking the little porno scrapbook, which
Yeah, I completely agree.
So that isn't it fucking weird?
It's the American
and
way. I mean, it's not that way in other countries, but for some reason, Americans are very closed off sexually, or at least they try to portray that. But yeah, like you can carry, we're in Florida, you can run around with your gun anywhere. You don't need a permit. You don't need nothing to conceal your gun, but look out for that dildo. Ooh, hide that boobie. Don't be trying to get some Mardi Gras beads. No, don't show no boobie. How dare you?
Yeah, we were just last week we had a guest that had come from Asia, and they made a movie. His name is Henry. He made a movie about a penis, and how the penis fell in love with a lady, and it was a severed penis. It was the most insane story ever, and it was totally cool because of their geographic location. It's like, oh yeah, this is totally okay where we're from, and I'm like, this is in America, this is like fucked. You know what I'm saying?
He dedicated it to his girlfriend.
And he did it, and we were like, so whoa.
Aw, so wholesome.
I know, right? Severed penis falling in love. It's just like the best love story.
Is this film out yet? Can I go and see this? Can I stream it on Tubi or something?
You can stream it. It's a short, yes. I'll send you the info.
Great.
Yes.
Great. I can't wait. This is good. This sounds real avant-garde, and something from overseas that I think our country could do with a little more of.
Yeah. I think they were from, oh my God. Help me, Kat. I'm very bad with geographics. Thailand.
He went to the New York Academy. The New York Film Academy is where he went to school. He studied English. And the movie is called Resurrection.
Resurrection. Thank you.
The short film. You're welcome.
Oh wow. Okay. because I went there too. I'm not sure if I would have known him, but if we went there at the same time, I did a 1-year program there when I first moved here. But I'll check it out. It sounds like a good piece about a good piece.
Yeah.
It's very enlightening. It's awesome.
The name just dawned on me. It's Taiwan. There you go. So you're right about that, Kai,
Gotcha.
because when I first watched Resurrection, I was like, what am I watching? What am I watching? Why is there a penis? Oh my god, what was submitted to us to review? I was like in disbelief that I'm watching this because it just felt like vulgar, and it wasn't vulgar. It was just a makeshift dildo, but it felt so wrong in a way, and I don't know why it felt wrong, but that's
Because it was
that.
all sticky. It
I
had the
think
stickiness.
I think it's I'm pretty sure it's the the conditioning, the conditioning that you have of like that's wrong, but organs, it's wrong to show that, like, you know what I mean, that like American conditioning of like this is wrong, we can't show this, we can't see this, we can't talk about it. It's just, I don't know, it's fairly interesting though.
Yeah, that was very much my mentality when I was writing and recording this new song, His Girl Friday the 13th, because again, I find myself saying, "Oh, this is meant to be, fun and otherworldly, and it transcends all this menial shit that I create art to get away from." But it winds up, sometimes it ends up being kind of an indictment or some kind of commentary on that, in a sense, and uh, obviously, in a way that might hopefully has some kind of, spooky groove to it, but because the song in essence was like a common, there are, however obvious or esoteric, there are a number of kind of indictments or middle fingers towards what I feel is like American Hollywood stupidity, paralleling both kind of our current climate to the the hypocrisy that was the 1940s and 50s Hays codes, where of that era, where you know that post World War II, like, we're all together and we're all wholesome, and this is what that whole like brainwashed Leave It to Beaver kind of type shit, that unfortunately bled into even all the movies that I love from that time. Meanwhile, Hollywood was in bed with and run by the mob, so it's like, in essence they're censoring things on screen that all the guys, the suits that Paramount or Warner Brothers or wherever were guilty of in reality. um and to me, and I think that still goes on today, and to me it just feels like you know the equivalency of and like the priest who is out to punish people for impure thoughts, and yet it's always him who you catch you know at best with a porno mag, still very hypocritical, but typically ejaculating on the face of an altar boy. So um it's that same whole, like, the guilty, the dichotomy of how the guilty one preaches the loudest, I
Yep.
think is ever present.
It's
um
all
and
about control.
and then yeah, and then you flash forward a few decades later, you hear all these stories about how with Miramax, how Harvey Weinstein was always out to censor scenes and the films, I think from like Robert Rodriguez or Quentin Tarantino, that would depict the very atrocities that he was guilty of in reality. And I think it's a recurring thing, that, and there are there are miles and miles and miles of a lot of rock or metal songs out there that are always flipping the bird at organized religion. And I think it's gotten a little old, but I think if with that same critical thinking and that same perspective and the same resilience to the bullshit and hypocrisy from the gatekeepers. You know, if you point that at, you know, I think what we're currently, you know, the mountain of horse shit that we're currently in the thick of, then you can really, I think, revitalize the most, I think the most powerful form of music. So that was the mission statement. And with that said, you know, I think that was all the more, I felt all the more fitting to me that initially with the dialogue clips, the audio clips that we recreated from Rear Window, from Grace Kelly's character dispersed throughout the song. You know, initially I want to do kind of what Rob Zombie usually does, and going and like getting clearance from Universal or whoever to have those clips in the song. That would have been a huge process that might have cost $1 gajillion. And I wound up recreating them with my good friend and frequent collaborator, Melanie Newton. She kind of ADR'd then. We tried to then kind of add the effect of sounding like they were pulled from an archive, you know? But I think her being super British, you know, having a British woman do it, you know, I think kind of was all the more appropriate, since, you know, she's not, you know, ultimate all-American pinup girl. I think, you know, having that, you know, because I think if it's such an indictment of American stupidity, I think you need that you know, that inclusivity. So there you go.
Thank you so much, Kai. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure
thank
talking
you.
with you. Time has just flown, right, Luna?
Yeah, we've been
I'm
talking
like,
all things. We've been talking about music.
Oh shit, are we already at the end?
Yes, we're at the end, Kai. Where can we expect more music from you? When are you releasing, or what can we look forward from you?
So the next single is in sessions right now, and that one is called Laceration Lounge. Yeah, come on down to the Laceration Lounge. The suits get castrated on the couch, and the dames get their fake tits gouged out, and it fills up into pools. The blue blood fills up into pools, swimming with all us freaks and ghouls. So yeah, so it's my kind of place. So I invite everyone to come on down when the song in question is released, hopefully this spring. But that's the next one we're in sessions on right now.
nice.
And yeah, and so that's in the process, as well as, so my last, this one was talking about, His Girl Friday the 13th, is in this, just got picked up for the soundtrack for another film which has some of the same creative family as Desert Fiends, called The Farmhouse Murders, which has Larry Hankin in it. And I know him best, I think, as the cop in Home Alone, who, when Catherine O'Hara, Kevin's mother, when she like tries calling up the police after she realizes the huge mistake that happened, he's the cop who has all those stupid questions that don't help. That scene always cracked me up as a kid. So he's in there, and he was also Mr. Heckles and Friends, which I've never seen, but it is really hilarious and heartwarming when I mention this acquisition to people who do know Friends. They're like, dude, what? Mr. Heckles is like the last fucking thing I think of when I hear your like I fuck his girl Friday song. And I was like, well, hey, there you go. But he's a big veteran character actor. He's been in many things. So I'm interested to see how and I think this one is getting featured pretty prominently. Like it's gonna get used like, well, over one character like beating someone else's ass, and then it's gonna get reprised in the credits. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. And yes, and there are a few other projects I can't quite talk about yet because they're still in negotiations. But principal photography is supposed to start on this year, and those are things I hope to be in front of the camera on. But yeah, the music is what's going to be consistent though, every 2 to 3 months. You know, like anyone, you know, I run out of you know, sometimes you run out of time, or you run out of you know, budget or whatever, but I never run out of energy and passion. So that's always going to be consistent. So yeah, there'll be no shortage of music actually there's gonna be more music coming from me this year than last year. So yeah, I'm
Nice.
excited and
Nice.
look forward to sharing it with you guys.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing everything. Everything's been so fun with your stuff and thought provoking in some ways also. So I like that. I like a good music that makes me think. Well, where can our viewers find you if they want more?
Oh well, thank you. It's funny because I never really try to provoke. I just try to entertain, but it seems like those two are kind of synonymous. I think the stuff like it just ends up happening that way. It holds your attention span the best, and it gets you wanting more easily than you know. But in any case, I'm mainly active on Instagram, which is my first and last name Kai Kai, last name Kaldro Kaldro. And then I'm also oh shit, you know what? I forgot it. I forgot about it. But just last night I relented. It has come to this after years of the last, bashing it for the last few years and saying, oh, it's just the Boslerman bastard child of Instagram, with all the weird music clips and shit. I got on TikTok because I was told that like it's where you have to go if you're a musician now, and the people kind of giving me that advice were people who I was venting to about like my music not quite getting the exposure I was hoping it would. So I don't want to be the guy bitching about something if there's a solution to it. So as of last night, I'm now on TikTok as well, and that's the same thing and the same handle at Kai Kaldro, and I'm also on YouTube, same, and my music is actually available on I think by automatic distribution. It's on every streaming platform. So yep.
And
Awesome.
last viewer question before we take off for the evening. Did Kai write the story for the postcoital premortem video? It is very creative video.
Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, that was all me from the beginning. In fact, the idea, the story was all storyboarded out before even we recorded the song. In fact, that's kind of my process for songwriting is creating some kind of like movie montage or set piece in my head and then trying to lyricize it. So that's how all these things all happen. Everyone has their own process, but for me, it's like scoring a film that has not been made yet. But that's how it all came together. But then eventually it did get made, so it was all the more triumphant, and it was all the more of a win-win sin.
Yes, we
that.
like the sinning. Thank you, Kai,
yeah.
for joining us. And for our lovely viewers,
Thank you for
joining us. Thank you. So Monday we have a show discussing Evil Lurks with Chris Stern at 9:30, the 22nd Monday. And then on Tuesday, the 30th, we have our Shook launch party starting at 7 p.m. And we're real excited about that launch party for the Shook comic. And we're super excited. And do we have anything else, Luna, or did I cover everything?
You covered everything. That is going to be our schedule for the next 2 weeks. Don't miss it, guys. Chris is going to be on next week with Evil Lurks. And then the week after that, Shook Anthology, who is being published by Dark Horse Comics. And we have, works that we're doing with them to get the word out and stuff. So come on by, say hi to us during that time. And it was so fun to have you guys here watching this today.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye.